Good morning, parents and families from VCU's Office of New Student and Family Programs and the VCU Global Education Office. I am Lynn Yundestead, Director of New Student and Family Programs, and I'm really excited to be with you for this final webinar of the semester. I know that this is a topic that many of you have expressed a lot of interest in. You're hearing from your student that they may be interested in studying abroad, or you may even be thinking that it's something they should be thinking about and considering. And so I have brought in the experts to help talk to you about all of those questions that you may have about what all studying abroad entails. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Stephanie Tigner. She is our Director of Education Abroad at VCU, and she's going to share with you some information that I think will be really helpful. And as always, we are recording the presentation and we'll make it available on our VCU Families blog. So you can always refer back to it if you have questions or want contact information or things like that to help you along your journey. So I'm going to turn things over to Stephanie, and I'll be back with you at the end for questions. If you do have questions along the way, please utilize either the chat function at the bottom, or you can also just unmute your microphone and ask those questions live. All right, thanks so much. Take it away, Stephanie.
Okay, great. Well, I'm really excited to be here as well, to have the opportunity to speak with all of you parents about the different study abroad opportunities that we have at VCU, because there's so much available. I think sometimes it can be overwhelming for students. And one of the most important things is that they have the support of their parents to participate in education abroad experiences. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest in this topic. And I hope that this is going to be a useful session for you. And I look forward to answering your questions as well. So I'm going to jump right in here to our presentation. The places they'll go, study abroad planning. So the Education Abroad Office that I manage is a part of VCU's Global Education Office. And, really the Global Education Office is the place at VCU for all things international. And so we serve the international student population and the international scholar population at the university, in addition to running study abroad programs. So we have a lot of experience both with incoming and outbound individuals that are traveling around the world to enhance their education. But Education Abroad specifically, my unit works to provide your students with experiences abroad that are going to enhance their education and add value to the degree that they're earning here at VCU. Really the point of this is to get beyond the comfort zone. And we use the term go beyond the compass because, of course, the compass is like a landmark on campus, right? Outside the dining hall and the library, you find the compass on campus. So it's a sort of a play on words because we've got the compass on campus, and we want students to go abroad, so they're getting away from VCU and getting away from our campus, but also we want them to get outside their comfort zone and to really expand their horizons, because it's through those kinds of experiences that can be challenging that are where the students are going to grow. When they're challenged, that's exactly when students are gaining the skills that they need to be successful, because they're growing and developing and getting the most out of their education. So why do students go abroad? What are the benefits? It can be described as sort of threefold, and research that's been done in the area of international education that really shows us this and illustrates this for us, that this is not just the kind of experience that is a fun thing to do, although it is fun to do. It's not just sort of icing on the cake kind of experience for students that if it's nice to have if you can do it. It's really an important part of education to have experiential learning. And I know that the university right now is particularly focused in the area of experiential learning with something called the REAL initiative that you may or may not have heard of at this point. And REAL stands for Relevant and Experiential Applied Learning. And I think that the benefits of study abroad are very similar to the general benefits of experiential learning. And we can talk about it in three areas, right? So students are going to gain development and growth and learning on a personal level, on an academic level and on a professional level when they study abroad. So to go into a little bit more detail about what I mean by that, as far as the benefits, educationally and academically, research shows us that students who study abroad, make changes in their decisions about how they pursue future education. So they may decide to pursue more education as a result of studying abroad, or they may decide they want to change their major, or they may have decided they know now what they don't like to do, which helps them realize what they should be doing educationally and academically. Also, students who study abroad come back with higher GPAs and are more likely to graduate on time, which is very contrary to, I think, what many people assume, because I've had a lot of parents and a lot of students say, well, isn't that going to hold me back from graduating on time? Isn't that going to be, sort of an extension to my time at VCU if I study abroad? When in fact, on the contrary, it actually helps students to get ahead and be more likely to graduate on time compared to the peers who don't study abroad. Also, on a personal level, students that study abroad tend to come back and seek greater diversity of friends, more culturally enriching experiences at home, whether that be involving themselves in a global local community somehow, in their home city or town, or maybe even just on a personal level in terms of the relationships and friendships that they have in their lives. So it has an enormous impact in many different ways. And as far as the career benefits and professional benefits that I also mentioned, there's a lot of research that shows that this is just the kind of experience that employers are looking for, especially in the 21st century, where skills and competencies really matter more than what a student majors in. And study abroad experiences are where students are going to gain these skills and competencies that employers are looking for. So in fact, there's a recent research study that was done that polled top employers in the US, and they said, what are you looking for from your graduates? What are the skills that you want the students or alumni, I should say, to come into the job market with, that you'd be considering as potential employees? And the list that they came up with is a perfect match to the list of skills that research shows us students come out of study abroad with. So, things like communication skills, teamwork skills, intercultural skills, all those things you see there, especially that flexibility and adaptability, the self-awareness and self-confidence, emotional intelligence, communication skills and interpersonal skills, all of that is a perfect match for what employers are looking for. And not only that, but we also hear from a lot of our students who have studied abroad that have graduated and gone on to do a job search and work in the professional world, that when they interview for jobs and they've got a study abroad experience on their resume, that tends to be the thing that the interviewer wants to talk to them about. They say, wow, you studied abroad in Costa Rica. Tell me about that. Or even better, the employer may ask a question like, tell me about a time that you had to problem solve. And the students are then able to point back to their study abroad experiences as examples of how they were successful at problem solving, or how they worked in a team, or what have you. So it's really a valuable experience in some, for the rest of their lives, in that professional category, as well as academic and personal. Okay, so now that we've talked a little bit about why students should study abroad and what the benefits are, I wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of just what opportunities there are that exist at VCU for your students to go abroad. So there really is a wide variety of options for students, and I'm confident to say that we have something for every student. Regardless of their major, regardless of budget, regardless of whether they've traveled before or not, whether they speak a foreign language or not, and regardless of how much time they have to go abroad. We have a great variety of programs that will meet just about every student's needs. So the first thing I want to emphasize is that we have programs that range different lengths of time. So we have programs that are as short as 1 week. We have spring break programs, we have winter break programs. Of course, spring break is a week long, winter break is 2 or 3 weeks long, and then our most popular time of year to go abroad is, of course, in the summer. And summer programs are typically about 4 weeks in length, though some of them are shorter and some of them are longer. And then we definitely offer a large number also of semester programs and even a full year option for students that would want to go abroad for a full academic year. So you can see there's really a wide variety of time lengths that students can go abroad for. At VCU, we also offer a lot of our own programs. And when I say our own programs, I mean programs that we actively run and administer. We may even have a faculty member on site. But we also work with a lot of partner institutions and a lot of affiliate program providers, which are basically third-party organizations. And so students have a wide variety to choose from as far as whether they want to go with other VCU students on a more of a group experience, or if they want to go independently and maybe be the only VCU student that enrolls at a particular host institution abroad. So, so there's a wide variety there as well. Also, as far as structure, we have many students at VCU who have traveled the world before they've even come to VCU. They may speak multiple languages, and they may feel very comfortable going out on their own to study in a foreign country and really dive right into the deep end and enroll themselves as a visiting student at a foreign university and maybe be the only person that does that. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, we have just as many students, if not more, who have maybe even never been on an airplane before and maybe only speak English and who maybe were very nervous about the idea of going abroad. And so those students might benefit more from having more structure on a study abroad experience. So for example, going with a group of other students, going with a VCU faculty member leading the trip. So we have every type of program from, in terms of structure that you can imagine to represent the differences in the types of students that we have and the needs that they have. Faculty-led programs are definitely one of our most popular, which is where a student goes with a faculty member and a group of other students, usually in the summer, but sometimes during one of the breaks, spring break or winter break. And they usually are studying a very specific course that is taught by that faculty member. We also have what we call international summer institutes, which is a new category of program that we've been offering in the last couple of years that's been very successful, where we send a VCU faculty member to teach a course at one of our partner institutions in the summer, and our students can choose to go and take that course taught by that faculty member, but they could also go and take courses taught by the local faculty, so they kind of get the best of both worlds. So there's a lot of different options as far as structure or independence as well. Now, cost of study abroad certainly varies, and I'll touch more on the cost in a little bit, but I wanted to point out that programs are either fee-based, where there's a cost that is a set cost that's determined by the costs on the ground, accommodations, tuition, housing, meals, excursions, transportation, etc. But there are also plenty of what we call exchange programs, where students pay VCU costs to go abroad and they exchange places with another student in another country, so that we are providing a very affordable opportunity for our students. And I should also add that there are programs that have more than just studying. Many of our programs offer a service learning component or a research component or an internship component, or all of those things in one program. So students really have the opportunity to get the most out of their experiential learning when they're doing a little bit more than just attending class. And so we have a lot of options for students to get the most out by doing those kinds of experiences during their study abroad to add value to their experience. And as far as destinations, we work with institutions literally all over the world. So just about anywhere you can imagine, we probably have a way to send your student abroad. So there are many, many different destinations. Okay, so here are a few examples of some of our programs that we offer. So short-term programs, which again are the most popular within the VCU category. So VCU's sort of owned programs. We have our Summer Institute at the American College of Greece in Athens. This is a very successful program. We probably have more than 40 students every summer who go on this program. And this summer we have a theater professor and we have a psychology professor, as well as a focused inquiry professor who will be going on this program. So your students could choose to take a course with them, or they could take a course taught by local Greek faculty, or they could do a combination. So they have sort of the utmost flexibility in what they take on those international summer institutes. And Greece is a wonderful destination. The program is located in Athens. It's a very friendly city, a very international student-friendly city, and the institution there is an American school, so they're very familiar with working with the needs of American students. There's fantastic support on the ground. They provide a lot of great excursions and activities, in addition to providing housing for the students. So that's why that one has been very, very successful in the last few years. Another really popular program that we have that I provided as an example is our faculty-led summer or spring break program in Jamaica through the Health Science Kinesiology Department. So it's called Community Health Promotion in Jamaica, and it's a service learning course. And it's actually led by the current chair of Health Science and Kinesiology, Dr. Joanne Richardson. And the Jamaica program last spring break, I believe, had over 30 students enrolled. It was so popular. And in the summer, it was a little bit smaller of a group because it was a little bit of a longer program. It was a few weeks long as opposed to 1 week. But that program really gives those students hands-on learning experience where they are participating in community health outreach in Jamaica. So they are doing healthcare screenings, they're taking blood pressure, and they are helping with screening individuals for things like diabetes and learning about what the specific issues are for health, public health issues in that community in Jamaica. So they're really getting to engage with locals, learn comparative health studies, and they're getting to see a beautiful country with a faculty member who is, again, the chair of the department. So another great benefit of going on a faculty-led program or a program that involves VCU faculty are the connections that the students get to make with those faculty members. You can only imagine, the number of reference letters, recommendation letters that the faculty members must write for their students after they have participated in a study abroad with them. Because you really get to know a student a whole lot more in depth when you're studying abroad with them than you do just sitting in a classroom here in Richmond. So that's another great benefit of studying abroad. The third example here on the list of VCU short-term programs is the School of Business's International Consulting Program, also known as ICP. And ICP is another very successful program that has enrolled a lot of students. They offer a variety of destinations, so they don't just go to one place, but every summer the students can choose from 4 or 5 different destinations on different continents, and they're engaging in a real-world consulting project. So these business students are actually working in teams with international students here on campus before they go abroad, and they're working with a real-world company in Richmond and doing consulting with them. And then they go abroad to the country that they are assigned, and they're going to work with those same students and in their home country, and they're going to engage with a real world company in that country to do consulting there. So they're getting sort of an internship experience, or in other words, a real world consulting experience, both here in the US as well as abroad. And it's a fantastic professional development experience for those students. So that's another fantastic example of a program that really provides a value-added experience through giving students something more than just studying abroad, right? They're doing hands-on work with a company and getting some really real experience. And then we have a couple of examples here as well on this slide of external programs that are short-term that we work with and send a lot of students to. So there's an organization we work with that we're affiliated with called CIS Abroad, and they are an American company. They're based up in Northampton, Massachusetts, and they run a plethora of study abroad programs all around the world. And one of the ones our students really like of theirs is their summer program in Costa Rica. And it offers Spanish and Spanish for healthcare professions and just sort of general courses that are taught in English. So it really fits a lot of our students' needs. But that's definitely one of those more independent experiences where a student, who goes from VCU may not be a part of a big group from VCU. But when they get abroad, they would be paired up with a group of other Americans who are there through CIS. So it gives them an opportunity to network and to get to know peers at other institutions, as well as with the locals. So that's a fantastic program. And then the other one we've highlighted here is the London South Bank University Summer Study plus Internship option, which is, again, a really great opportunity for students to get hands-on learning through internships abroad. Okay, so let's say your student is more interested in going abroad for a little bit of a longer period of time. We have plenty of semester programs. And so I've provided a couple of examples here of partner institutions that we work with. So we have exchange and we have direct enroll. And as I had mentioned earlier, with an exchange program, students are going to pay the same tuition that they normally would be paying to VCU. And that tuition is actually used to pay for an incoming exchange student who comes to our campus in Richmond, and it pays for their tuition. And then your student, let's say they go to University of the West of England, they don't have to pay them anything for tuition. Their tuition is covered because they paid it to VCU. So it's really a great opportunity to provide an affordable study abroad. And I always tell students, if you can afford to be here at VCU in Richmond, you can afford to study abroad at the very least through an exchange program, because it's the same cost as what you pay here for tuition. Now the housing costs and living costs, of course, are going to vary depending on the destination. So we have to keep that in mind as well. And then there are expenses like airfare. But again, we'll get into funding options in just a few minutes, and I'll give you some tips on ways to study abroad affordably. The semester direct enroll options that I've listed here, we work with a certain number of program providers or partner institutions that we've very strategically selected because of the cost being very comparable to or even less than the cost at VCU. So I don't want to misrepresent the two options on this page as exchange and direct enroll, with exchange being the more affordable option than direct enroll, because in many cases, it's actually even more affordable to go abroad through a direct enroll option. Macquarie University in Sydney is a great example of that. The costs there are very affordable, and they offer some great opportunities for students to earn certificates in global education and in different areas like business or health or engineering while they're studying abroad. Plus they have service and internship opportunities. So that's one of the reasons we highlighted that program in particular. So we'll go on to our next slide, which is how to afford study abroad. So I know that's the question that's probably been burning on most parents' minds from the moment anybody mentions study abroad, is how much is this going to cost? Isn't this going to be expensive? Isn't this going to be prohibitively expensive? And I'm really here to explain that it doesn't have to be expensive. It really depends on picking the right program, right? So we've talked about this a little bit, but some programs are more expensive than others. And so, of course, our office in global education here at VCU can help students to find the right program that fits their budget. So if there is a specific budget for a study abroad that a student comes to us with, we can definitely work with them to find options that are, like I said, either equal to what they pay here or even less expensive than what they pay here. So, thinking about destination and cost of living in the destination can certainly help in terms of picking, a more affordable program. So our second bullet says, use what you have. So what we mean by that is that a lot of students already get financial aid or they get scholarships from VCU to use on campus. Well, most of that is actually applicable to studying abroad. So financial aid, pretty much everything except for work study is applicable to studying abroad, as are most of the merit scholarships that students can earn here at VCU. So we also work with students who might be receiving things like GI Bill benefits, or might have access to a 529 account that their parents started when they were kids. So, we will work with students to make sure that whatever funding they already use to pay for their education, that can also be used towards the cost of studying abroad. But if they don't receive enough to cover the cost of their program or to cover the cost of the extras like the insurance or the airfare or what have you, then they can certainly apply for scholarships. And we have a lot of scholarship options, and I'll touch more on those in the next couple of slides. But also we prepare students through our advising and through our pre-departure orientation process that we offer to travel smart and to be wise about how they spend money when they are abroad, so that they're getting the biggest bang for their buck, right? And in the end, considering the payoff and the benefit of this, just like paying for a college education, study abroad is also an investment. And we've already talked about those benefits earlier on in the presentation. So you always have to consider that as well. So as far as scholarship opportunities, we do have a number of scholarships that are offered right here at VCU specifically for students who want to study abroad. Most of them are offered through the Global Education Office, the office I work in, but some of them are also through various academic departments and schools. So it really depends. Students should look everywhere for scholarships and leave no stone unturned. But I'll highlight a few of these on here. So starting with the Airfare Voucher Award, we are very fortunate that the university has invested in this. And actually, when I say invest, that's probably the wrong word, because there has been no need for anybody to donate money or save money in order to provide this opportunity for students. This is simply a sort of point system or a frequent flyer type system for the university, where every time an employee travels, the university is gaining mileage points, and we basically give those mileage points back to the students in the form of these airfare vouchers. So it is a competitive process, like a scholarship that students apply for, but we gave about 25 of those recently for students who will be going abroad in the spring. I know when it comes time for summer, we usually give closer to 30 or 40 of those awards. So we regularly have a strong number of awards that we're able to give out, basically that covers the cost of their ticket, and minus the taxes, but it covers their ticket abroad. So that's a fantastic opportunity. Another one that I'll point out here are the school and departmental awards. So one in particular that isn't specifically named here, but does exist, is the Baldacci Award. So David Baldacci, the famous best-selling author who you may be familiar with, he was a VCU alum himself, and he and his wife have donated quite a considerable sum of money to the university, specifically to support students who are participating in experiential learning. So that includes study abroad. It would also include things like internships or research, service learning, and what have you. But Study abroad is certainly one of the areas that we see a lot of students apply for that Baldacci Award, but that's only available for students in the College of Humanities and Sciences. So if your child has a major in the College of Humanities and Sciences, then they would be eligible to apply for that Baldacci. But if your child is not in that school, then they, or that college, I should say, then they can certainly pursue through whatever school they're in any funding opportunities that might exist. So whether that's the School of Business or the School of the Arts or what have you, we encourage them to look there as well. Okay, and then beyond VCU, there's a lot of funding as well. So I've given a few examples here of various nationally competitive international scholarships. And one in particular that I will highlight is the Gilman. So the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship is congressionally funded, and it is intended for Pell Grant recipients. So Pell Grant students being our most financially needy population, this is intended for that population. So it actually provides up to $5,000 towards a study abroad experience. And for many students, that's enough to cover their airfare and potentially their housing, or maybe it's enough to cover their tuition or their full program fee if it's a short-term program. So it's a very, very considerable amount that is awarded to the Gilman. And we have served in our office, the advisors on our team have all served as readers for the Gilman. So we know exactly what they're looking for in the applications because we've been the people who've decided for students from other institutions over the years. And so we have that expertise to really help our students put together really strong applications for things like the Gilman. So we run writing workshops on how to apply successfully for these kinds of scholarships because we want to make sure that students get this money so that they can actually go and have these experiences. So how to get started? Well, we have a new tool that we just started offering this semester. It's called Rams Abroad 101. And if students go on our website, which I've put the link for here, it's vcu.studioabroad.com. There's a link for it you'll see on the upper left-hand side of the navigation bar. And it says Rams Abroad 101, your first step. And they click on that and they'll see it's a series of short videos. And it basically explains the process for how to study abroad. What are the options? How does funding work? How does getting credit work? And how do I move forward if I decide this is something I want to do? And we welcome every student to participate in Rams Abroad 101, and they can come back to the site and watch these videos multiple times in case they've forgotten something or they need a refresher on what the funding options are, for example. And then once they attend the Rams Abroad 101 session online, which they can do from wherever they want to do it at whatever time they want to do it, then they can schedule an advising appointment with somebody in our office. And we have several staff that we assign to different regions of the world or different majors. So if your student knows where they want to go, then we can tell them who to meet with, or if they don't know where they want to go, but they know what they want to study, we can help them. We can definitely help match them with the right person in the office to meet with, to talk about their plans and options and next steps. Also, I thought I would mention that we teach a 1-credit course for freshmen that is called UNIV 291, Maximizing Your Study Abroad. And that course, we do have a section open in the spring, just one section this spring. We hope to be able to offer it again in the fall, but that's a great opportunity for students to take 50 minutes a week to learn more about the program options that are available, the process to studying abroad, and really the benefits of studying abroad, as well as to hear from students who've studied abroad and faculty who take students abroad and international students who are studying abroad here in Richmond. So it really provides a comprehensive overview of global education opportunities here at VCU. And I will mention that if students take that class a C or better as their final grade, then they are eligible to receive a $500 discount on any study abroad program that they choose when they do go abroad. So there's a definite benefit to doing that course as well, from the standard benefits of being more familiar with study abroad programs. And then finally, there are study abroad fairs and events that we run throughout the year that we advertise broadly to the students and hope that they will come to so they can learn more about their options and talk to advisors face to face, talk to different representatives from some of our partner institutions, talk to some of the faculty who take students abroad, and also talk to the various representatives from offices like student health or financial aid or the National Scholarship Office, which are really, the support service offices that we partner with to make sure that students can access studying abroad. And to summarize other to-dos for students who are thinking about studying abroad, we also strongly encourage them to speak with their academic advisors so that they can make sure that they're picking a program that's going to keep them on track to graduate on time, and that they're picking the most relevant education abroad experience to the degree that they're earning. Courses that they would want to take, they can review in our course equivalency database and determine, how the courses are going to transfer back to VCU if it's transfer credit. Sometimes credit abroad is not transfer credit. Sometimes it's VCU credit. It all depends on the type of program they do. But we have a long list in that database of courses that have been approved at other institutions around the world where our students typically go, so they can go on there and review to see what would be the right program for them and what would be the right courses for them to take. Then they apply to their program. Of course, they get their passport. If they need to get a student visa in the country they're going to, then they would have to apply for that, secure their airfare, attend our pre-departure orientation, and then they go. So that's sort of in a nutshell what the process looks like. And I would say that students can work with us up to a year in advance, but typically a semester in advance is all that's really needed to plan for a study abroad program. These are a few ways that students and you can engage with us and learn more about opportunities that are available, new programs, new scholarships, and things like that. We also have an Instagram takeover where students who are currently studying abroad will take over our Instagram account, the VCU Study Abroad Instagram account, and tell stories about their experiences that they're having abroad, which I think is really fun to follow. So we encourage you to follow us on these different platforms. And this is our contact information. So we're located over on Grace Street near the Ramtech building. So if you've come to campus and you've got a computer or any technology and you've visited Ramtech, we're in that same block. There's a Panda Garden also on our block. So we're up in the 4th floor of the Grace Street Center is the name of the building that we're in. And we welcome students to come see us and meet with us, and also with parents. So if you're ever on campus and are interested in connecting with us, you'd be more than welcome to come over and chat with us. All right, so that marks the end of my slideshow, and I'm not sure what kinds of questions have come in, so I'm gonna let Linan help me figure that out so I can ask any questions or answer any questions that have come in.
Great, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. I do have some questions for you. So the first question is related to student anxiety about studying abroad. So if a parent or family member has a student who might be a little nervous about the idea of studying abroad, or perhaps maybe has experienced some homesickness since they've been at VCU, what suggestions might you have for that parent or that family member as they approach that conversation with their student?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's totally normal. And if a student doesn't have homesickness, it's abnormal. Most students do get some kind of homesickness or have that fear that they will have that homesickness when they are studying abroad. So that's number one, is that's completely normal. But I would also, consider recommending to students who might feel that way or feel a bit apprehensive, of going on a program that is more structured, where they would be going with a faculty member or with a group of other students. So they have sort of that support network built in to their program before they even go. So, you know, one of our summer programs or a shorter program might be a better fit for them than going abroad on their own for an entire semester or an entire year. But sometimes going abroad with, you know, a friend or a roommate, that can also help as well, having a level of familiarity with somebody who's also on the program. Or if that's not possible, connecting with the other students who will be going on the same program as them in advance. And there are ways we can connect students in that way to other students from other institutions who might be going on the same. Advisors can certainly work with those students. Health concern. I know we have us and say, you know, I'm currently being treated for anxiety or depression or something like that, and want to make sure I can get the same support when I'm studying abroad. We can also ensure that the students are able to find a provider in their country before they go, so that they know where they would go if they needed help, or where they can go for continued counseling, if they need routine counseling services when they're abroad. Many of our partner institutions offer that kind of support as well. So I think very, very much it depends on picking the right program, the right type of structure, and then working really closely with somebody in our office to make sure that we're providing as much support as possible to that individual student's needs when they actually do go.
That's fantastic advice. Okay, so my next question is kind of regarding the opposite situation. If you have a student who is extremely eager about study abroad and is excited to go abroad, but as a parent or a family member, maybe you have some nervousness, you're worried that your student's going to go abroad and then never reach out and let you know how they're doing. What tips or suggestions might you have for a parent or family member about communication with their student both before the trip and while they're abroad?
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, we just this afternoon, we have scheduled a parent pre-departure orientation webinar that we started doing recently in the past couple of years. We found that that's really helpful for for parents to understand the process, right? And what their students are doing and when they're going, and what deadlines there are, and really just getting better expectations for the whole experience. So we would definitely encourage the parent in that situation to attend our parent pre-departure orientation webinar. But also, you know, setting with their student maybe some expectations about communication. And nowadays, with everybody having some kind of a phone or computer at their fingertips, it's easier now more than ever to stay in touch. And quite honestly, it's the opposite problem that I think we're worried about, and that students may have one foot in their home country and one foot in their host country, instead of being more fully in their host country, because they're constantly tied to their phones and to their friends back home and their families back home through social media or technology. But I think setting an expectation of let's talk once a week, or maybe once a day, or however frequently is appropriate for the student and their parent. I think that would be definitely a good way to go. But also, you know, many times students will share with their parents the information on their programs, and the contact information for the emergency contacts on their programs. And so parents may reach out directly to the program that the student is going on, if they've set up some mechanism for that, for their parents to have that information, where the parent might reach out and say, I just want to check in on so and so. And they might reach out to the on-site coordinator at the host institution or the program provider, and then at least have some peace of mind through communicating with that person.
Great. And I just have one more question for you. So I know you talked about how you really don't need a ton of time to prepare for a study abroad experience, that a semester in advance actually does give you adequate time. If you have a student who maybe you've never approached this conversation with, they've never expressed an interest, would you recommend that maybe this is a good topic to start talking about as soon as winter break coming up?
It's never too early to begin thinking about or planning a study abroad. So as far as starting an actual application, you can't usually do that more than a year in advance, but certainly thinking about it, considering the options, learning about it, that should happen freshman year, ideally, so that even if they don't go until maybe second semester of their junior year, they have planned that out and they've talked to their academic advisor and all the appropriate people well in advance so that it doesn't come as a surprise and they can plan accordingly for doing it when they are going to do it. So yes, I certainly recommend the Rams Abroad 101 session online, doing that as soon as possible if they haven't already done that.
Great. Thank you so much. And I just want to thank you overall for spending a little bit of time with us this morning to talk with families. Families, if you do have follow-up questions regarding education abroad, the contact information is still up on the screen, so you should be able to still see that. If for some reason you're not able to see it, you would want to email abroad@vcu.edu, or you can give them a call at 804-827-7882. So that's where you would want to direct follow-up questions about the presentation or about anything else regarding an education abroad experience. Well, I hope that you all have enjoyed your time with us, and I hope that you will enjoy even more of the time that you are hopefully about to have with your student over winter break. I know our students are very eager to get out of here, get these finals done, and get home and spend some time with family. So I hope that you all have a wonderful time together. If you're celebrating any holidays during the winter break, I hope that those are wonderful celebrations, and we look forward to seeing your student again in the spring. We will also be releasing our webinar series for the spring, as well as some special family events. So please keep an eye out for those. We'll send an email through the RAM Family Update with that information. And have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks again so much, Stephanie, for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.